Hey everybody, welcome back to Tech Odyssey. So today I want to do a 2-month follow-up review on the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3. Yes, it's been over 2 months already, and time has flown by so fast. We went through September, Tech October, we're into November now. The holiday season is upon us. And I have some thoughts, and still they're pretty positive. I really do enjoy this phone, but I wanted to go back and touch base on it because basically it's fallen off the radar for the tech cycle because we've gone through the iPhone, we've been through the Fold 3, we've got now the Pixel 6. There have been a lot of phones that have come out and it's just like boom, boom, boom. And sometimes these things get left hanging in the rear with the gear, as it were. There are a lot of people who still like this phone and are interested in it. So we're going to talk about it today. But before we get into that, I do want to say if this is your first time stopping by the channel, thank you for being here. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Now let's talk about Mr. Z Flip 3. So I've been testing out the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro for like the last 2 weeks. And I decided, let me go ahead and put my SIM card back in my Z Flip 3, test it out, use it again. I updated One UI 4 for the beta, and it's really nice running Android 12 on here. There are some enhancements that we have going on. You may not be able to get into it yet, but this is on the horizon. We have the beta for One UI 4, so that means that One UI 4 is not too far off down the road, which is like far and away better than what we used to get. I remember even just a year or two ago, it seemed like to get the next operating system update on a Samsung, it was way behind. So the guys with the Pixels, the OnePluses, they were always enjoying the newest and latest and greatest. One UI 4 is pretty nice. I love Android 12. It's actually less buggy on the beta here than it is on the full release on my Pixel 6. So Samsung has done some pretty good things here. Looking at the phone, it's a brilliant looking device. You've got the 6.7-inch screen, you've got the external display on the front, the 2 cameras. It's got everything that you could ask for other than just a significant amount of battery. This phone, I think, would be near perfect if it just had better battery life. It's one of those things where it's kind of like a lifestyle phone because you do have to make a sacrifice. And this has been very apparent as I've been using phones that get 5 hours, 6 hours screen on time. Having a device that gets under 4 hours of screen on time, for somebody like me, it's kind of a handcuff to a charger that I don't particularly like, but even using it today, I got over 3.5 hours of screen on time, about 20% battery left. It'll cross over the 4-hour mark. I've said this from the get-go. It is a sun-up to sundown phone for people like me. It'll get you from when you get up in the morning, get your cup of coffee, till you get home from work in the evening. And I think a lot of people, they're okay with that because they enjoy what the phone brings to the table. You get this nice flip design. The clamshell opens and it closes. You get the external display on the outside for your notifications. You have some small complications, some different things you can do, like going to the next track, using the Samsung Fitness stuff. It's neat. I wish it were more like the Motorola Razr where you can actually type and do smart replies and actually have some limited things you can do. If I could watch even just a small version of a YouTube video on here to see it while I'm listening to it, that would go a long way. A lot of the improvements they made over the Z Flip 5G have been clutch. I love the design. It was so refreshing. I knew as soon as it came out, I wanted to have one. Of course, I knew that already having my Z Flip 5G. This isn't one of those phones where it's like, okay, I bought it, I used it for a week or two, I made some videos, and it's like, goodbye, Z Flip 3, I'm moving on to something else. I am definitely Team Flip. I'm also Team Fold. I'm Team a lot of phones because I review them and I test them out all the time. But this is probably the most fun phone that I have in my phone inventory. I like the simplicity. I like how pocketable it is. It's so nice being able to just throw it in your pocket. It's smaller than a wallet. It's way smaller than a typical phone that's opened up like this. You get the beautiful 6.7-inch display, the 120 Hz refresh rate. It's super nice. I've been enjoying it for the last couple of years on other phones. Full 1080p plus, FHD plus, 120 Hz. It's just a nice, enjoyable experience. It makes everything when it comes to scrolling nice and smooth, and it feels very, very premium. The Z Flip and the Z Flip 5G were basically the same phone with some changed out internals. This one, definitely you can tell that they reworked it. They went back to the drawing board and they designed us a really nice looking phone. I like the fingerprint sensor on the side, especially with the integration of the power button. One thing that I've missed using a Pixel phone, the Pixel phone is reversed. You have the volume rocker on the bottom and the power button up top. I guess they figure people hit the volume rocker more than the power button, so it kind of makes sense logistically. But when you have an iPhone with the volume buttons over here, when you have other Android phones with the volume button up here, it's really nice just being able to use one thumb and do a snapshot, do a screenshot of the screen. So there are pros and cons to the different types of styles and designs. This one, I really love it because you get all the power and sophistication of a flagship phone. You get the Snapdragon 888, you get 8 gigs of RAM. One thing I wish I had was the 256 gigabytes of storage. And Samsung made me make a choice here because I wanted the cream colored one, which is what I have. I'll go ahead and take my case off so you can see it real quick. It's very easy to undress one of these phones and take the case off of it. And you can put a clear case on it as well very easily. There are some good ones out there. I actually have mine right here, which is my Rinky slim case. It's a very good case, less than 20 bucks. I'll have a link for that down in the description along with the phone if you want to check that out. It's a beautiful looking phone. I like the squared off boxy appearance. The hinge is basically hidden in here. It's much smaller than the previous generations. It's not as bulky. It's not bulging out. And it's IPX8 water resistant. So if you drop it in the water, you're good for up to 1.5 meters for up to half an hour. And that right there, that is huge when it comes to what people typically consider a fragile and less well-built phone. This one is built well. The hinge holds up well. I've been using it, and it's nice. You can use it till the cows come home, and it doesn't mess it up. It hasn't loosened up even after 2 months. The screen protector is still very much intact. You can see that there. It's not even peeling or curving from the edges. This PET style film screen protector on here is a huge, huge upgrade over the one on the Z Flip and the Z Flip 5G. I utterly hated them because they felt disgusting all the time. It's just like they just grabbed onto any oil or anything, any film or residue, and it just felt gross after even using it a short period of time. This one, you don't even have to clean it that often. Wipe it off once every day or two. Use a microfiber cloth. It works out really well. So you're solid there. The camera setup on here I think is really good. It's complementary, and you also get the flex mode. The flex mode also comes in clutch when you use the camera because you get the controls down on the bottom and then you get the screen here. So you can use it, you can prop it up. It's great for TikTok, your Instagram Reels, all that stuff, even YouTube Shorts. It shoots vertical portrait style. I've even recorded before. I put it up on the dash in the car while I'm driving. You can use it hands-free, and it works out really well. So you're covered there. 4K video on the front and the back. You've even got a lot of different camera stuff in there. Now, the camera on here, a lot of people really dinged it. They're like, oh, it's last year's cameras. It's not very good. Well, last year's cameras were still pretty good. So I like that they took them. They made them more circular looking, kind of this more classic style, this vertical stack. It turned out really well, and I think that this phone is probably the best put together phone of 2021 in Samsung's inventory of phones. It looks sleek, it looks classy. I love the color design on here. I don't like that I had to choose and I could only get this in 128. I wish I could have got it in 256 because there's no expandable storage. So that's very annoying. But you get reverse power share, you get wireless charging. It's got every possible thing you could pretty much ask for. It doesn't have a headphone jack. If you're concerned about that, you can get a USB-C to headphone jack connector and put it on the bottom. It's great for making phone calls, solid call quality, and the speakers are a real treat too. That was one thing I didn't like about the Z Flip and the Z Flip 5G. They only had the one downward firing speaker. This one, the handset speaker up top, also doubles as a speaker. So you get stereo sound when you want to listen to music, when you want to watch movies, and it's really nice. It's got a nice thin profile. It does feel a little cramped. Having been using the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, which have a wider, more traditional aspect ratio, coming back to this and typing on it again, it does feel a little bit more narrow, and that's just part of the way they designed it to make it more pocketable, to make it feel like a slimmer, smaller profile phone. It's actually a very, very thin phone. Very thin, very lightweight. 7 different colors you can choose from. There's different ones like the Samsung exclusives, and then the original colors that came out. A couple of people that ordered those custom colored ones, they actually had to wait and just got them like a couple weeks ago. And part of that I think is also due to the massive chip shortage that's been everywhere, that's just plaguing every manufacturer and every phone. Samsung did a fantastic job with this phone. And they brought the price down. That was the biggest concern I had. There was such a cost hurdle there that kept a lot of people from wanting to pick one up. A lot of people were worried about durability. But I think that was demonstrated pretty well with the Z Flip and the Z Flip 5G. This whole folding screen thing that Samsung likes to do with their foldables, it's proven to actually hold up pretty well, other than the kind of issues what we had with the very first Fold phone. So they changed that up. Nice, durable, compact. It's really fun because you get that old style nostalgic feel when you want to open it up to answer your phone call. You can close it to hang up on phone calls. It's great for things like watching YouTube. You can watch the top screen uninterrupted. You just get to watch the video, and you can force that flex mode with a lot of other apps if you go into the settings. So more customization, more options. The Bixby routines are great. They really help you customize the experience, so you can even do other things like when the battery starts getting low, tell it to throttle down and not use 120 hertz anymore, and change the brightness. There are things you can do that you can increase and enhance the performance of this phone without noticeable decreases in battery life. And if you really, really want to save on battery, there are things you can turn off. There are things you can adjust, different modes you can use. And I made a whole video about that right here. You can check that out. It's been popular. A lot of people have been watching it and giving good feedback saying, hey, I watched your video. I'm getting better battery life. A lot of the stuff you said worked. So it's one of those phones. There are compromises for certain people like me who really, really rely on using a lot of screen on time. I reply to a lot of YouTube comments. I'm always checking Creator Studio. I'm using Twitter a lot. If you are a screen heavy user, it's really going to drain the battery. That's the biggest thing with this phone is the battery. Not necessarily an issue, because we know with 3,300 milliamp battery, there are going to be serious limitations there. It's not a 5,000 milliamp battery phone. Very small, very compact, flagship performance. We're not compromising on anything. It's not like using the Motorola Razr where it's like, well, you got a Snapdragon 765G, which is a mid-tier processor. I wasn't even getting a lot better battery life out of that anyway. The Snapdragon 888 with the One UI, the advanced stuff like the adaptive battery, adaptive brightness if you use that, really go a long way to not interfere with you using the phone. You still get all that power. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a flagship device. $999. One of the biggest surprises is the price has dropped all over the place. There's been stuff where you could go get it from AT&T, trade in lots of lower tier phones and get one for free. Even with T-Mobile had some good deals. Samsung had great trade-in deals on certain phones. It's very attractive. It's a very good entry opportunity for somebody who wants to try out the flip phone, folding phone lifestyle. And like I said, it's very much a lifestyle kind of phone. It's one of those ones where it looks nice, it's chic, it's classy. It's not your traditional, normal, everyday slab phone, and it just looks great. And it's a pleasure to hold it and to use it. It's actually even got really good haptic feedback, which makes the typing experience all that much better. So I wanted to go back in, talk about it 2 months later. Holiday season is coming up. This is one of those things where I expect it to drop in price. Stay tuned on that. If I get any updates, I'll share them in the community tab as far as price-wise, if you can get good deals during the holidays. I expect there to be really good deals and price drops because Samsung wants to flood the market with these folding and flipping phones. Of course, this is not a sponsored video. They didn't send this to me. I bought this sucker with my own money, just like I do 90% of my phones. So I do like the flip phones. I think they're for more people than they ever have been. I think a lot of people like this. They like the attractive, cool, unique opportunity to use a different phone other than an iPhone and feel like they're special. Because this phone does make you feel special. You get it, you take it out in public, people are like, oh wow, that's cool. It has that wow factor. It's got pizzazz, if you will. It's got just this intangible quality to it that makes it a fun and enjoyable experience, but you don't feel like you're carrying something that's a beta or a prototype. And I felt that way with the Z Flip and the Z Flip 5G. They felt a little clunky, rudimentary, and not quite sleek and sexy like the other phones. So now this phone is the total package in all those regards. It just doesn't have a really big battery. If this had a 5,000 milliamp battery and would get me 6 hours screen on time, hands down without question, it would be my #1 go-to carry every day. For me, I do like to use it. I do like to throw my SIM card in it. I've used it for the last 2 days again. And just thinking about it and using it, it's fun. And I wanted to get in front of the camera and talk to you guys about it again because I do share a love for this phone that I don't for a lot of other ones, because as nice as those phones are, they just don't have the same wow and enjoyment factor that you get out of having this really cool flip phone. So that's all I've got. That's my 2-month follow-up review. I think it's held up well, very durable, no noticeable changes to the screen or the hinge, which I know people are concerned about. And I think it's going to hold up well and do people a good solid service as a phone for the foreseeable future, definitely. And then as we get the full rollout of One UI 4, you're going to realize even more enhancements and enjoyment out of the phone because of all the new software updates and stuff as well. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those down in the comment section. I'll get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.